could say, is it still early at this point? I don't know. Anyways, one of the few Week 2 matches I've been able to stream so far. We have another one coming up later tonight, which I'll actually be participating in, and as a result, there'll be a lot less commentary. But right now, in a few moments, we'll have VK4 BattleDroids versus Taw4 Sons of Dawn. Spelled D-O-N-G, not like the morning sun as you might assume. I think that's meant to be some sort of a joke, I assume. Anyways, let's take a look at the stream. So we have everything correct except that it looks like Taw4 will be starting on Khuzait, so let's go ahead and update the scoreboard icons to reflect that here in a moment. Both teams are currently warming up. Let's go ahead and turn on the warm-up overlay to reflect that. But they'll be starting pretty soon here. So let's take a look at each team's roster while we're waiting for the match to start. Okay. So according to the BSL rosters, on VK4 BattleDroids, we have BattleDroid, Rakmis, Sintra, CleonRedMoon, Zrolock, and Spades as starters, Trizoid, PhoenixDawn, and Baelon as substitutes. I recognize almost all those guys. All pretty solid players. I feel like some of those players could be just about on C Division, but they are fighting in D Division currently. And they are fighting their opponents on Taw4. Oh, and also I forgot to mention on VK4 BattleDroids, the captain is Less is More, and the co-captain is BattleDroid. And for Taw4, we have Captain Poopsnicker, co-captain WickusWackus. They have the starters of Poopsnicker, WickusWackus, WASP, Omar, CommanderAnder, and friend Dhmi. And their substitutes are Jerds C, and Kimchi Pancake, I think also, who goes by Razzle Dazzle in the past, and Chum are their substitutes. I think Razzle would be kind of a weird substitute in D Division, but fair enough, I guess. A Poopsnicker is sort of weird to see in D Division, maybe a little bit overqualified, but I guess he is officially on the roster, so we'll see how he does. Looks like we're waiting for one person on Taw4 to join the match, so first map is going to be Khan's Keep with Aserai versus Khuzait. Obviously some of the more lightly armed factions, and armored, I should say, on each side. And then the second map will be, let's try to remember, Fort of Honor with Vlandia versus Sturgia. So it's kind of interesting how they're kind of exact opposites. Fort of Honor is a much more closed map, and I would say a little bit, not bad, but maybe not as good for archers. And very lightly armored factions on the first map. And the second map, more enclosed, closer quarters. I'm saying the same thing twice. And then very heavily armored factions. Vlandia versus Sturgia, you have heavy infantry on each side. Unlike, Khuzait and Aserai, they're more similar factions. So it's interesting how that's kind of more closer to a mirror match for each map. Looks like we might have had an audio problem here. So the warm-up is going to be ongoing and probably repeatedly reset for the foreseeable future. Currently we're waiting on Taw4 to get their last remaining team member to join in, let's go ahead and go over the roster again. I think my microphone might have been inoperable for that whole introduction. We'll call that a warm-up intro that you guys didn't hear, but I did hear it, so I'm well practiced now. So, the roster of Sons of Dawn for Taw4. We have the team name Sons of Dawn. The captain is Poopsnicker, who's well known in the matchmaking community, plays a lot of skirmish, very skilled player, will probably be a very good captain for Taw4 on Khuzait. And they're fighting, Poopsnicker's the captain, the co-captain of WickusWackus. The other starters include WASP, Omar, CommanderAnder, and their friend Dhmi. Looks like we have most of those guys here. And their substitutes include Jerds C, Kimchi Pancake also goes by Razzle Dazzle in the past, and Dhmi you'll see as a substitute here as well. That is the roster for Taw4, and on VK4 BattleDroids, the team name is BattleDroids in honor of their starter and captain, or co-captain rather. You have the captain of Less is More on VK4, and starters include BattleDroid, Rakmis, Sintra, CleonRedMoon, Zrolock, and Spades. That's who's on their roster, not necessarily who's here tonight. And then we have the substitute players of Trizoid, PhoenixDawn, and Baelon on VK4 BattleDroids. So those are the two teams. And what else is there to say? Okay, so first map is going to be Khan's Keep, Khuzait versus Aserai. And next map will be Fort of Honor, Vlandia versus Sturgia. Both teams will play each faction, so there'll be two halves. It'll be a first to three on each half of each map. So first to three for each, each team gets a chance first to three for each faction. And they'll play two sets on each side of the map. And then they'll move to the second map. So anywhere from 3, 6, 9, 12 matches to up to an additional 2, 4, 6, 8. In addition, it could be up to 20 rounds depending on how closely fought it's going to be here. Now let's just double check. Is the stream title correct? I think someone was telling me I might have. No, I have it correct. Great. So looks like our description is correct for the team rosters, as well as the stream title.
Make your fathers proud.
Looks like we're going to be starting right now. MindPro, I think he might have been the person that they were waiting on for Taw4. So let's try to make some predictions. They have about 9 seconds to pick their classes. I'm guessing Spades is very likely to be in Cavalry, and probably BattleDroids on VK4. I'm guessing, I'm not sure on, looks like we have 4-2, no, just 5-1 actually on Aserai for VK4. Only BattleDroids and Cavalry. And who is the Khuzait Cavalry? Did they not bring one? They did. And he was busy dropping a sword, it looks like, for somebody, or swapping a sword with MindPro. So that is going to be Dhmi on Cavalry. I don't know how well or how good he's going to do here. I'm not familiar with him, but he, could be pretty competitive with BattleDroid. We'll see. Aserai is obviously the favored faction for the Cavalry matchup here. They have 3 lives starting off, so I think first round I would say Aserai is pretty well favored. They have 3 lives on Tribal Warrior. Khuzait's only have 2. Let's see how they do here. That was a very near miss on BattleDroid's horse there with Chukka. Another miss again. Looks like the fight is kind of starting off Khuzait favor. You have a very heavily injured Aserai soldier. Then the first kills goes to VK4, then one to Taw4, another one to VK4. Looks like probably in the favor of VK4 overall here. Definitely, I think it's VK4 is going to win this fight. Looks like right now, unless something really turns around in Taw4. I think it's going to be a kind of close-fought first infantry fight. Actually, Taw turned it around. I guess VK4 squandered their advantage, and BattleDroid goes down, loses his horse, and that's probably for the best that way. Dhmi here doesn't get a remount. So let's see. These guys are. He is partially damaged. This guy, Poopsnicker, is only a bit damaged, and yeah, they all are kind of hurt. So Now, Cleon probably took 40 damage from that spear stab. A two-handed stab like that is going to hit really hard on a lightly armored infantry like Cleon is, so the Tribal Warrior class. So I'd say overall pretty winnable for VK4. I mean, they still have another full generation to respawn with. I mean, not including Cavalry. You know, Cavalry gets 2 respawns, but they get a whole another fresh lineup of Tribal Warriors, so very likely to be winnable for VK4. I'd say they're definitely favored in this first round. Let's see how they do. Okay, so they quickly lose somebody on VK4. It was actually... Yeah, Cleon's the first to go down. He was the one who's injured in the first... the reset of the Khuzait infantry. Still pretty even right now. Somebody loses a shield on VK4. Another two top 4 go down simultaneously. Looks like VK4 might win this on their second generations. They didn't even need their last lives, so we're just sitting in spawn. Now they're trickling in because there's no reason not to. So, yeah, I think reasonably good try from Taw4. I think that it's likely to be a competitive match for the remainder here, but VK4 definitely had the advantage for this round with the economy on Khuzait. So we'll go ahead and increment that scoreboard for VK4. Just realized I need to change the scoreboard to BattleDroids, not Day Outreamer. So it looks like that was still not updated. My mistake. Let's go ahead and correct that. Alright, so let's see what's going on here. Catfight gonna be off the bat? Maybe? We'll see. So Khuzait have heavy cavalry for Dhmi now. And looks like BattleDroid is what? Capping B? And then getting pushed off right away with infantry? Okay. Looks like Khuzait are starting off with a morale advantage. We'll see how BattleDroid does here against Dhmi with a longer spear. Okay, looks like there's a cav duel ongoing on C. I missed the start of that partially. I don't see any hits on either of them, but I might have, you know, not noticed it. The injuries aren't always super obvious. Okay. Let's see how they do here. Looks like VK4 is taking the lead here, I think, initially. That could turn around. Yeah, I'm not likely to do so at this point. I think Cav can still get some picks here. Dhmi gets a nice kill on Zrolock, so that'll help, but may not be enough. I mean, I don't know. I think Aserai is probably the favorite faction here, and doesn't look like... Oopsies, went to my Steam overlay. Anyways, doesn't look like they're gonna have a huge advantage. So they have enough gold here for... If I'm not mistaken, Rebel's still 90 gold, so they don't really have enough for a third life here. Now, I think what happened here is CommanderAnder decided that the round was lost, so he went to Rebel to preserve eco for his next round, which I don't know if that makes sense, because he would have had enough eco for 3 lives next round anyways. I'm not sure what the logic was. But kind of an odd decision. Okay, so where's the cavalry? He's chasing the other cav, gets a nice stab from BattleDroid. Cleon doing really well in infantry here, it looks like, in terms of score. And Dhmi is also doing very well on Khuzait's for Taw4, getting a decent amount of score himself. Yeah, I don't know. Dhmi definitely has a longer spear here with that heavy Lancer Khuzait cavalry. I also forgot to remove the warm-up overlay for the first round here. Apologies about that. All right, so looks like Aserai definitely injured some of these infantry in that second fight there, and knocked out a few of them. Is that a trickling infantry? Is he on his last life here? He is on his last life, and he's way ahead of everything else. It kind of looks like. Not the worst, but not great. Oh wow, that was a really... Is that lucky? I can't tell if that was an intentional stab from Dhmi or if that was just pure luck that he dismounted BattleDroid there, but either way, it doesn't hurt to dismount the enemy cavalry. I don't think that it's going to matter much at this point. With the round pretty much over, let's go ahead and take a pause here. Let's see if I can refresh the... or take a moment to share out the stream link to everybody else. Alright, so 2-0 in favor of VK4 BattleDroids. Again, I would say definitely the favored faction, and BattleDroid seems to be taking advantage of the better cavalry class, getting a decent amount of score on the jaw wall. That longer bamboo spear, the Khuzait kind of nomad class, shorter spear. It is cheaper, but relatively cheap, but pretty bad class overall. Dhmi going Lancer again. Is he going to have enough eco for a respawn? He does. He can go a Nomad Second Life. CommanderAnder actually doesn't have the same level eco as the rest of his team. I think that might actually hurt them in one of the last fights here. We'll see. Let's see if we get a big Lancer kill coming in here from Dhmi. He does get a kill right off the bat. Pretty solid. It's nothing going to matter for Taw4 to be able to knock out... I mean, they have to knock out Aserai really fast here, do some serious damage. I mean, Aserai just has 3 full generations, so... Khuzait's on Taw4, they really have to dominate on this first fight to have a chance of winning the round overall, and it looks like that's just kind of not happening. I mean, they're doing a decent amount of damage, holding their own, but... they kind of have to just kind of wipe out Aserai quickly on their first lives to be able to then do some damage to the second generation of Aserai. And clearly not the favored faction for the first half here, so Taw definitely has a chance to pick up some rounds once they get to fight on Aserai here. You know, if they lose this, it'll be 3-0 in favor of VK4, and then Taw4 will get their chance to play Aserai in the second half. I would not be surprised if they pick up a couple of rounds there. Not a guarantee either, obviously. So Dhmi bringing the longer Khuzait spear, trying to get a shield here or a different horse. Let's see, probably just a shield. Kind of risky. Okay. Well, that delay is not ideal, but it looks like the Khuzaits were mostly alive. I don't know. I think the delay in dealing damage could be significant on this. Yeah, I mean, the Khuzaits just got wiped out way too fast. So, what is this? The Aserai all still has at least another whole set of lives here, and yeah, they're all mostly untouched. One of them, what is it? Cleon's pretty hurt on spear, but I don't see... Yeah, I think this is going to be a 3-0 here. Very, very unlikely for Taw4 to pull us together here. They'd have to play pretty much perfectly to be able to pull off a round at this point, which not impossible, but seems implausible. If anyone, there's nobody even totally out on VK4 yet. Maybe if BattleDroid gets knocked out early in this fight. No, I don't see it happening either. Okay, well, we could say not unexpected for Taw4 to lose with this faction difference, but would have been nice to pick up a round here for them. All right, we're moving into the second half of the first map. Let's see if Taw4 can pick up any rounds on their turn as Aserai. VK4 will obviously be playing as... I mean, very well done to Dhmi on Khuzait Cavalry. I mean, his team was not staying alive super long, but he still managed to do a lot of damage, get a lot of score in. You know, honestly, you would kind of expect with these factions on this map to see a 4-2 on each team, but apparently not. I don't know what the reason for that is. I'm also a bit surprised that there weren't, you know, any archers. There was no compositional mix-ups. Not sure why that is. I think let's see how they do now. I think Dhmi did really well despite the, you know, nomad cavalry disadvantage on Khuzait, so has a chance to do reasonably well now that they're on Aserai. I think it's not impossible that Spades might go horse archer, but we'll see if that happens. I don't think that we've seen any horse archers in this tournament so far. I don't know that I've streamed any match that has had a horse archer player. They do exist, but I don't think it's usually considered optimal. You know, a lot of times when you can land those, lance would have been better anyways, so we'll see how this goes. This will be the first round for VK4 on Khuzait, first round for Taw4, Sons of Dawn on Aserai. They are currently selecting their classes. This is the second half of the first map. Let's go ahead and increment the game status to second half, starting in 3 seconds. I'm curious if there's any comp changes, any 4-2s on either team. 5-1 still on Taw4, and still a 5-1 on VK4. I don't know why that is. I think Spades is a very decent cap player on VK4. I'd say he could basically play C Division. Let's see, Dhmi on cavalry again. No surprise there. Okay, so they're fighting right away on B. And looks like Khuzait cavalry arrives a little bit faster, misses his stab, and takes a pretty nasty stab to his horse. BattleDroid does. Let's see. So VK4 kills Aserai pretty fast. I don't know that it was enough of a wipeout. I don't know that that was an. Sorry, I'm actually peeking for my audio here. Let's go and turn down my input gain a little bit. Yeah, so I don't know that that was enough of a stop for VK4 to do a ton of damage to their second generations, but they have the opportunity to do something. We're looking to just kind of do some hits. If you're Khuzait, if you're VK4, you just wanted to do some damage to their second generations. That way, your own second generation of Khuzait has a chance to easily wipe out the Aserai. They were really hoping to knock out somebody completely on Taw4 if you were VK4. You know, despite winning that first infantry fight, it's not going to be enough for VK4. They had the eco disadvantage, and they kind of won the first fight. But Aserai has 3 generations. So even if they win here, they're not going to, you know, they didn't do enough damage their first lives to win easily. And I mean, they're winning better than I expected. But yeah, they really didn't have any right to do that well, but they did. So well done to VK4 BattleDroids on Khuzait. You know, only a couple players took some, you know, significant damage, but the rest of them are pretty untouched. So despite Aserai being, you know, heavily favored in the first round of this second half of Khan's Keep, looks like VK4 kind of maybe just has the infantry advantage. That's a big enough difference to win here. Spear is getting pushed pretty hard. It misses a bash to get enough distance to switch to a sword. Misses another bash, and Cleon's kind of getting bullied with his spear. Can't get enough distance. And actually, surprisingly, gets a stab off. That was really huge for VK4 to get a kill there. Cleon doing a good job of staying alive. Wow, that's also huge. Cleon doing a great job on spear, it looks like. And he got a lot of score the first half as well. Yeah, so VK4 kind of a bit of an upset here. You know, I was expecting this is to be Taw4's easiest round. You know, 3 full generations versus kind of 2 on versus, you know, VK4. We have seen just in the last match that I streamed where just because you don't win your easiest round, that doesn't mean that you're not going to win anything. But that brings it up to a 4-0 in favor of VK4. I mean, this is looking up to be something of a stomp in terms of overall score. I mean, I think Taw4 is obviously, by no means are they doing terribly, but they're just not winning rounds. So they really need to do some serious damage or just outright win this first infantry fight. And they're already kind of split. It was an attempted bump stab by BattleDroid. I think his timing was just a little bit off, but nobody tried to joust him. So if your infantry are not even threatening an overhead swing, there's no reason for cavalry to not attempt a bump stab. You know, BattleDroid's a very solid cav player, but you know, not perfect at bump stabs. So misses that opportunity. Would have been nice to get that hit in. One of our first commenters saying, B1 BattleDroid's too strong and is making his fantasy team proud. I think I might have, I don't know if I had B1 BattleDroid on my own fantasy team. I think I considered it, but he might not have made my own roster. But yeah, doing pretty well here. And I think D Division and C Division, it's one of those tiers of matchups where you have some relatively strong players among, you know, players who have a larger skill gap. There tends to be larger skill differences relatively in C Division and D Division. So it's kind of a place where people can get tons of score and kind of be the real difference makers on their team. Dhmi's doing really well, despite, you know, Taw4 not picking up a ton of rounds. I think MindPro and CommanderAnder, you know, no offense, they may just be kind of the weaker links here. I think they have to kind of just get more score for Taw4 to have a chance of winning some rounds. Yeah, so Aserai is already fighting kind of split. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. VK4 wasn't really paying enough attention and still made pretty short work of that. What was that, the second generations of the Aserai? So now Aserai's on their last life, and looks like VK4 has some eco to spare here. You know, some of them can spawn Rabble for sure. They got at least 3 guys who can spawn Rabble because they've done so well in the first round. So if VK4 wants to kind of blow their wad, blow their eco on this round, I don't see how. I mean, it's going to have to be a clean sweep. And they're already split again. They're already fighting kind of split. VK4 doesn't really take advantage of that at all. But okay, Taw4 not doing badly here on Aserai, getting some kills in pretty fast. I don't know that it's gonna be enough. They're gonna have to be really healthy. Well, maybe they have a real chance here. It's plausible, but I wouldn't say it's likely that they win this round. They have a very good chance here. I'd say at this point it's kind of Taw's round to lose. Sorry, their round to throw, maybe. They shouldn't lose it. I think... Yeah, there you go. Alright, that's the first round, so it's going to be a 4-1 in favor of VK4 versus Taw4. You know, like I said, this was not actually the easiest round for Aserai or Taw4. Their easiest round, I mean, some of them had third lives here on Khuzaits for VK4, right? That was not true for the first round of the second half. That was like the weakest round for VK4, and they actually won it. And then the second round, they had extra lives because they did really well the first round, and they still lost. So I do find it interesting when a team kind of pulls it together. You know, they lose their easiest round, and then they lose the harder round. Same thing happened last match where, what was it? It was VK2 and B Division was fighting Jom, and Jom actually won on their their hardest round to win. So VK kind of lost their B division. VK2 was the first map on a carry-on, and you know, despite not beating Jom on their easiest round to win when Jom had peasant lives, they kind of turned it around. It was kind of turning into a bit of a stomp for Jom, to a 2-0, and then VK2 turned it around to a 3-2. So kind of same thing here. Just because you don't win your easiest round doesn't mean that's going to be a complete disaster. So important to kind of keep a sense of optimism. Don't you know, crash out right away when things don't go your way. So I'm not exactly sure why they're facing off here. It looks like the cavalry are maybe just kind of trading flags instead of actually fighting each other, which is kind of silly. Looks like BattleDroid's choosing not to fight, which is probably the right move here. Oh, is he trying to do an ambush? But he did it way too early. Wow, this guy was not paying attention. He was typing. That was a huge... I want to say something in chat, but Dhmi was taunting BattleDroid, and as a result takes a pretty nasty spear to his horse. Yeah, maybe he gets even there. They're just kind of trading horse HP, which is not a winning move for the light cav here. Does he not notice the infantry? Okay, it's actually his friendly infantry. I'm blind. Alright, so we're going to have a fight in the last flag here. Let's see how this goes. I think in eco terms, Aserai has more generations to spare here, so if they do some damage, they should have a decent chance of winning. Yeah, I think that they're doing enough that they can still win. They didn't get wiped out instantly. It kind of happened in the first round. Poopsnicker stayed alive for a long time in that 2v1 situation, so Aserai has a whole fresh set of generations. Looks like most of Khuzait's have a respawn as well, actually. Yeah, actually, Aserai doesn't have a ton of eco. They don't have a whole another generation left. I think VK4 kind of favored on this. If they can do some damage, I think they're favored here. Looks like Blackbeard's almost out, and WickusWackus took a nasty hit as well. I mean, you got the paper-thin armor here, so any hit with a sword really hurts, and a fresh generation of VK4 is coming in. It's going to be very tough for Taw4 to pick up this round. Cavalry was hiding in a little bunker there. Looks like he gets a kill right off the bat, so well done to Dhmi. I don't think it would be enough, though. Now, was I completely blind? I might have been blind. Did not realize, actually, that VK4 was on their last generations before Taw4. I mean, obviously they should be with Aserai versus Khuzait, but I think I was just losing count or track. So now everybody's on last, except for Baelon on Khuzait. So what class is he? He still has a whole nother life left. He wants to use it. Okay. It's a kind of winnable for both sides right now. Now Taw4 is definitely favored. Could they pick up another round? Just about here. Looks like it's going to turn into a 4-2. So second round, definitely a faction difference here. I did expect Taw4 to win some rounds here. Had the possible makings of a stomp when they lost their easiest round, but They're turning it around. This could easily turn into a 3-1 in favor of Taw4. That would kind of even up the score to a 4-3 overall. Looks like BattleDroid is a burnout before leaving a spawn. And Dhmi is going in for the kill. Is that the... hard for me to tell if that's the bamboo lance, but one of the longest lances in the game. I think 208 length if you go the longer lance perk on Aserai Mamluk Heavy Cav. I think he's really trying to chase down BattleDroid, who's, you know, got the weaker horse, the weaker... shorter lance, weaker horse. Wouldn't be an easy cav duel for him to win. Yeah, with the archer, it's the first archer we've seen from either team. You know, Blackbeard, I don't know how well he's going to do here, but I'm interested to see how he does. 841 scores, his current numbers at. Archer, cav goes right for him. It's a pretty nasty stab in there. It's probably half the archer's health. Yeah, Archer did not get a chance to shoot very long on Taw4 before cav or infantry was right on top of him. And he goes down pretty fast. It's going to hurt. So you really have to keep his archers alive and free shooting for a while to make them worth your while. So, I mean, hindsight's 2020. They had to try something different, I think. But that archer really didn't work out for them, I don't think, initially. There's still time to prove his value, but in that initial first fight, that was not good for Taw4. Okay. Is any cav on second life? I don't have time to look at it. I'll watch this duel or this 3-1. Alright, so Khuzait's all still have a what is it, third life left? And except for Zrolock, and Blackbeard's on last, but most of the other Aserai have respawns. Aserai cavalry and infantry resetting doesn't look like they did very much there. Actually, they got a pretty nasty hit on Zrolock. And maybe Spades. No, he looks clean as well. No hits on him either. Okay. They all have another whole generation to spare here. But the Khuzait last life generation will be weaker than the Aserai last life generation. So if Aserai can do decent damage, if they kind of, you know, even if they lose by, but not by much, I think they'd still kind of overall be favored to win. This, now Khuzaits are really split on this fight. I don't know why they're doing that. It's not a smart play by VK4. They're just miles away, taking way too long to get into this fight. Despite the maybe bad communication, and clearly not smart thinking. This guy's in a 2v1. We have 3 players waiting to get in the fight. That's what I'm talking about when you're, you know, people are split for no reason. It's bad for the team, and nobody's pushing Archer while they're doing a 4v1. This guy. I mean, maybe understandable to not push the Archer who is firing from spawn, so you kind of lose that fight right away if you do push him. So I think Blackbeard was about, what was it, 839, something like that, started this round. And 2 lives in, he's done about 350-ish score, so not terrible. About 300 score, actually. You know, not exceptional, but not bad on Archer. Okay. Did VK4 do any damage on their reset there? Their second generation. Mind Pro took some damage. CommanderAnder's really hurt as well. WickusWackus is looking okay. Poopsnicker's looking okay. WickusWackus and Poopsnicker are definitely the better infantry players of those alive currently on Taw4. Looks like it's going to be possibly the match round. I should say the map round. Maybe not the match round, but could be the final round of this map here. VK4 has to win, otherwise it's going to move to the second map. It's a first to 3 here, so VK4 has the chance to win. I'd say it's tough to say who is favored. VK4 did enough damage to the last generations of Aserai on Taw4 to win. Really nasty stab from Dhmi, who's hiding in the corner. He keeps doing that. I saw that on... Wow, huge from Dhmi. Dhmi's really proving his value here on Cavalry, helping to pull together for Taw4. That might have made the difference for them. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a 3-1 here. So that really narrows the gap by quite a bit. I think Dhmi is kind of carrying his team. 1,786 score is pretty huge. Poopsnicker also carrying. 1,500 score on infantry is pretty incredible. Actually scored more on infantry than BattleDroid did on cavalry. So, you know, kind of proves my point, what I was saying earlier, that it's a little bit crazy to have him in D Division. All right, we're moving on to the second map, which is going to be Fort of Honor. We're going to have Sturgia and Vlandia, much heavier armored factions, up next on Fort of Honor. Let's go ahead and get those faction icons updated on the scoreboard. Alright, that's my prediction, is probably you're going to have BattleDroids VK4. I assume playing Vlandia first, and most likely Sturgia will be the faction choice for Taw4 on the next map here, Fort of Honor. Alright, so we have Fort of Honor. Much more enclosed map, smaller map. You know, if they were bringing 4-2 compositions, I would not be surprised if those switched to 5-1s on this map. But since they're all bringing pretty much 5-1s the whole time, that is likely to continue. I would not be surprised if... Let's see, which side is going first? Taw4 is actually going to be on Vlandia first, it looks like, which is usually VK is Valiant Knight, Vlandia Knight, whatever. Probably their preferred faction, but I guess for whatever reason, Taw4 has first dibs, so... I'm not sure who's spawning on this side of the map, but if Vlandia is on this side of the map, you have the staircase, which is pretty ideal for the archer or crossbow. He can kind of shoot into half of B and be mostly safe from cavalry behind him. I'm curious if that does happen. I've not seen that happen very much on this map, but I've been looking out for it, been expecting it, just hasn't really happened much. Okay, so we're in the warm-up of the... Gonna be looking like we're about to have the first round of the second map here in a moment. I think they're going to be not stopping their warm-up, so I may mute myself to get a glass of water as we wait for these teams to bring all their players back in. All right. So, looks like there is an intermission because somebody in Taw4 had to go take a leak or something. So we're probably going to be starting here in about 1 minute. It's going to be the first round of Fort of Honor. Somebody... What? Looks like somebody's player was had a house burning down on Taw4. They're arguing in all caps in chat. It's exciting stuff. Don't always see that match. Apparently somebody's players... One of the players' houses allegedly has caught fire on Taw4. They had to go pause or extend the warm-up to allow for some sort of
hello?
Firefighting effort. How's it going?
Pretty good. I just was staging here. Sorry for my absence. I was in the middle of watching. I had a draft cup I had to do. And we had a lot of teams playing right now. We got EDIV games about to start too.
Yeah, this match has been pretty exciting. I think this is the first instance we've seen of somebody having to extinguish a fire in their house mid-match. So, hopefully more of that to come in this tournament.
Yeah, I hope less mistake to be TBF is talking about. Trizoid is subbing in for Baelon. Baelon had to go.
He had to bail on you?
He had to bail on me, but you know, Trizoid is really good when he's sober. I don't know if he's drunk or not right now. I didn't ask him. We're gonna find out by the way he plays. We also have a BDiv game starting in a second here.
Oh, really?
So we have 3 VK games now. We have VK4 DDiv, we have VK2 and BDiv about to start playing. We have VK3 EDiv, VK5 and EDiv are playing right now. They don't start soon. I say we switch over, or do you just want to finish this match out?
Well, my own match doesn't start until what, another 40 minutes or so, or 35 minutes.
Your match starts tonight too?
Yeah, I have one in was it 9:30 Eastern. So,
oh, geez.
Yeah.
Who are you guys playing tonight?
It's gonna be RCC Ryan's team. I forget which team he's on.
Oh, okay.
But, I kind of remembered him as like the big bad guy to worry about carrying them. No offense to the rest of his team. But yeah.
Ryan is scary.
It's gonna be a tough match for us, especially me on Cav fighting him. In positive news, I dual Falcon Hunter a little bit today. Got a 2-3 on him, which is tough to do on one of the better cavalry players in NA. So
that's exciting.
Yeah. Although Bober, by contrast, like I had to fight him like 6 times in a row to pick up an actual overall dual win on Cav. So we'll see how we go. I'm pretty warmed up today, though. All right, so far it's been. I think there was definitely a huge faction difference on the first map, where it was like a 3-0 in favor of VK4, and then a 3-1 in favor of Taw4, and then I think Poopsnicker really kind of performed a little bit too well to be in D division. Maybe he was had higher score than BattleDroid was on Cav, so that was pretty crazy. Dhmi, didn't really recognize this guy, but he scored really well as well. He was a top player, pretty much.
He's an ADiv player he plays in A division in Europe.
Yeah, that's not a huge surprise. He was top of the scoreboard the whole time. I mean, that's kind of a compliment to BattleDroid, because BattleDroid, did not get dominated by him at all. So, well done, BattleDroid. I think he kind of mostly avoided the fights when he was on Khuzait, which was the smart thing to do. He did take some fights, which he did reasonably well on when he was on Aserai Jawwall, which with a longer bamboo spear. Looks like the warm-up may be ending here in 8 seconds, so we might see our actual match. So yeah, I think Poopsnicker and Dhmi kind of carrying their team. A couple guys that they've had. I think one of their worst players they may have just subbed out. I'm trying to remember who it was. CommanderAnder has not been performing very well, and whoever Karma's is subbing in for, I don't remember his name.
He's not cooking.
They had a couple people that were just not carrying their weight on Taw4. Like, Dhmi and Poopsnicker were doing fantastic. Oh my god. You have CommanderAnder spawning peasant class on the... What's going on here?
Maybe he's looking to spawn Sergeant Second Life to give his peasants a chance of winning the round.
I know, but he's been doing this weird thing where he goes peasant or else is not doing it sometimes, and it's weird.
CleonRedMoon opting to go two-handed spear.
And he's getting punished pretty hard by it.
Yeah, not
Pull the shield out
just
in time, but still took a hit there, I think.
Oh, huge team hit from the year of Cav on Poopsnicker. Someone took a mace and dropped it for Poopsnicker. Poopsnicker using a mace, but he also has improved armor. That means someone had to have taken it and dropped it for him. Looks like whoever it was is now deceased. Ooh, Dhmi getting a good pick on Trizoid there.
VK4 is going to win this first fight, it looks like. And I know that Dhmi's like an A division player apparently, but he is playing with a pretty significant ping disadvantage here. Poopsnicker took a literal eternity to go down there on his first life on the 3v1.
I wish I was seeing Zrolock and Trizoid running for the loot right now, but instead they're sitting back. The CommanderAnder spawning heavy unit right now, but opts for the axe play. Interesting choice. PhoenixDawn is staying alive. Not looking good for VK. I mean, they did get some damage in that second life.
Yeah,
but I wish
Poopsnicker is their best player, and he's
them,
heavily hurt, and so is CommanderAnder. So I think VK4 overall is favored. I mean, they just had to do some damage, although they won't have loot.
Loot is not secured.
But, not having loot with Clan Warrior, I mean, if you're going to miss out on loot, that's,
Could be worse. Could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. It hurts Vlandia a lot more to not have loot than it would Sturgia.
True. Good point. Most of them opting for the sword.
Clean's a little bit too far ahead. Why is he doing that? You just need somebody. Okay, Sturgia has lose one in VK4. Now it's more even in favor of VK, it looks like. Okay, I think VK4 takes this.
Well, it's very close. 2 cav up still. You can make it happen. Oh, huge misplay by Dhmi there. He went for this advanced sidestep. That sidestep is, B1 BattleDroid cleaning them up. Best cav MA!
6-1 on the first round.
Oh, that was hot, B1.
That brings
I don't know, Thief. What's your predicted score for this map?
Let's see. First half, I don't know. I'm gonna guess maybe, I don't know. It could be something like a 3. I don't know. I'm thinking VK4 definitely wins this overall. I would not be surprised if we see something like a 3-1 or 3-2. Probably either way in favor of VK4 is just a guess. But I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes.
Well, VK4 not fielding Rakmis today. It's kind of a huge L for them. They're 2 cav. They're forced into running 5 inf.
Well, Spades is still here, and he's no slouch on a cav.
True. That's not Spades. That's Spades. It's not Spade.
Oh, Spade and Spades. Yeah, they're singular versus plural. I always mix them up. Spade is the cavalry player. Singular. Got it. Okay, my mistake.
No, that actually doesn't sound right to me. I think Spade renamed himself to Spades to match the other player. They're 2 different individuals.
Oh my god. Alright, well,
But they're 2 different. He used to go by Zeph. He's a skirmy player. Played in D-Div last year. I was here in C-Div. PhoenixDawn, not
isn't this a D-Division match?
This is a D-Division match.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, yeah, so Spades. Last year there was no E-Div, so D-Div was a lot worse. So now that with the addition of Edom, it makes shuffling people around a little bit more. Looks like VK lost that first fight there against Vlandia.
Yeah, and Cavalry's pretty uninjured as well. I think they have to do some damage here to win. Wow, that's gonna hurt. I don't see their infantry doing a ton of damage with that happening.
VK didn't take a lot of damage there, but if B1 plays too risky here and Carmen's gets a kill on him, it's gonna hurt. Huge dismount. Oh, here comes Dhmi. B1's horse has got to be really low here.
I mean, I don't see a lot of blood on it, but I did see him take a stab.
I see him take 2 stabs so far on that horse. It's making me a little nervous. He's going improved armor, which means that horse is already paper horse. Oh, Carmen's didn't think he was going for him.
Yeah, I mean, that really hurt. Yeah, BattleDroids very much focusing on the cavalry, not the infantry here. It's stuck in a corner. I think VK4 might lose this round.
When you're up on inf, you know, you really do as solo cav want to focus on the enemy cav if they're running 2 cav. B1 not able to figure out what weapons he wants, and we lose that round. Trizoid 0, 4, and 2. He's kind of holding the team back a little bit here. Trizoid needs to step it up.
I mean, in fairness, so is CommanderAnder on Taw4, so in that sense, it's kind of equivalent.
Yeah, but you know, getting a kill is huge for your team. CommanderAnder has 1 kill, 4 assists. Trizoid 0 kills. You know, being able to eliminate a player is an important skill, even if you know you don't do too much damage there. Finishing off somebody to make your team up in that group fight is really important. Oh, Spades gets a cheeky hit on the horse. Dismount early on Carmen's. That's huge, but Spades is far away, and he's not engaging in the fight. What the hell is Spades doing there?
Trizoid gets knocked out early again. Not about again, but certainly this time.
We'll be 1 out. It's not good. His team's got cav up, and we don't.
Pretty nasty joust on cavalry by Sturgia.
Snicker in a 1v2. PhoenixDawn gonna get stabbed in the back there. Oh, we missed. VK not playing very well here.
Yeah, they really need to win that 3v1 without taking a bunch of damage, which they're having a tough time doing. And they're about to take more damage here from the cavalry. A really good spin around by Cleon. He's got to prevent that remount. There's a horse right there. It's gonna. Oh my god. Yeah, they squandered that.
Not good.
Yep, squandered that whole scenario. Wow, that probably hurt. Yeah, he had to like kick or something there. The Poopsnicker's not gonna fall for that, I don't think.
Should have messaged to Spade. I told him he needs to stay with the team because he's having a hard time. You know, that early fight there, we would have done a lot better if he was with the team. Zrolock getting bump stabbed by Dhmi. Poopsnicker wanting to reset. I'm sure he requested that team kill there. Oh, great dismount. So that lance will no longer be couchable for Dhmi. He's gonna have to spawn like calf. Excuse my cough.
It's kind of interesting that Taw4 didn't bring 4-2 at all on Khan's Keep. Might have been running with the full map.
I wish right here, Mr. Cleon up. He does switch to his one-hitter weapon here. It's a little bit too late though for VK to win this round. We have to change something up here if they want to win another round.
Yeah, since they subbed in Trizoid, it's not been going very well for them.
No, Trizoid is outperforming though. He did a lot better that round. He's doing better than Zrolock and Spades. I think Spades, not going to team that first fight, so kind of screwed them there.
Do we think Vlandia is favored to win on this map or this matchup?
I think Vlandia is a better faction overall than Sturgia. Their cavalry's better. So right now we are seeing the benefit of them having 2 cav, which will be less pronounced once BK's on Vlandia. Because the Sturgia Lake Cav, it's good, but it's not good enough to, I think, make this much of an impact. So.
I think VK4 made kind of prove my prediction to later on here. I was expecting like a 3-1 in their favor just because they did so well in that first round, but I don't know.
I don't think CleonRedMoon using this double spear is smart.
Yeah, the Cavs doing a pretty good job of avoiding him. They have
Seen a lot of side blocks from CleonRedMoon.
Like, he's definitely taking hits because of that.
Trizoid's about to get hit. Oh, Dhmi doesn't go for Trizoid.
Nice.
Oh, bump killed by B1. Can Cleon catch up to him in time? Oh, huge dismount. It's good.
It was definitely a misplay by BattleDroids to stay that close to a dismounted cavalry. It was not necessary with the want. He didn't get punished for it, but it was a bad play.
B1 zerging their infantry, goes for CommanderAnder, hits him. Oh, huge. Can you Poopsnicker? No. Carmen's looking for spawns right now. If you look at him, he's in our spawn. He's in the VK spawn. Didn't find any. B1's still first life. This is looking good for VK right now. If they can deal some damage on these second life Vlandians. I think this is our round to win for VK4. If you're a VK fan, it's gonna turn around. It's not looking like it's impossible. Cleon's still opting a two-handed spear. Oh no. Zrolock is fighting second life like a fool. Absolute foolishness. Not good for Trizoid and Zrolock to be fighting here. CommanderAnder goes down.
I don't know what happened here, but that was very silly. Are they gonna somehow pull this together? I mean, I don't think they will, but it's not impossible. If B1 had got that stab that he just missed, that might have made a difference, but yeah, they still lost. Or do they all have lives? I didn't realize that. Why is Spades sitting in spawn when they're all fighting on last? That's crazy. They don't realize that he's fighting... Is he... He's sitting in a gatehouse while everybody else is fighting on last. That does not make any sense. I don't understand that. And the only person with life is BattleDroid. Maybe that was the play? So respawn with BattleDroid? Fight with him.
I'll split your skull.
Well, apparently that was not the idea. He just didn't realize. He finally comes in, 10 minutes late. Looks like VK4 pulled it together despite some really weird some weird decisions earlier on. I'll say that. Alright, this is going to be the last round of the first half here. Looks like Vlandian cavalry for Taw gets dismounted right away. And looking like the fight's going Taw's way overall despite that. Pretty nasty hits on Zrolock by 3 different people. Trizoid gets what, I don't know. Hit simultaneously there. Yeah, Taw4 way up in that fight. I mean, these guys are definitely injured, but maybe not Poopsnicker. He looks mostly clean. Blackbeard probably also hurt, and where's this guy done? CommanderAnder is done some damage, but appears mostly untouched. Maybe hard to tell on his model. That red tabard on his armor. And a couple people don't have eco on VK4 Sturgia, apparently. VK4 is going to have to kill these first lives on Taw4 really fast and not take any damage to have a chance, have a good shot of winning this round. WickusWackus is doing way more damage than he has any right to be doing. CleonRedMoon really taking some extra hits to do that two-handed spear. I don't know that it was worth it again. He's continuing to take hits from that. VK4 is fighting split. They're missing their third guy and they're about to fight. What are they doing? There's no communication. Trizoid needs to yell out, "Hey guys, wait up for me." And I guess it was because of the morale. That's why they're pushing. I didn't realize that. They lost to morale. It's crazy. Well, that evens it up again. It's been a very close match this whole time. We're moving into the second half of the second map. This will be the last, first to 3. So the last set of the match, anyone's game at this point. We're going to be switching factions. It'll be Taw4 on Sturgia and VK4 on Vlandia. Some say that the VK, the Vlandia Knights, some say they never lose on Vlandia. We'll see if that holds true or not. Okay. I'd be surprised if there were more substitute players, but we'll see. That did happen on the map change with both teams actually subbing in one player. Let's go ahead and update the game status to 2, and we have the faction icons correct. Great. Looks like all players got in really fast. Nobody needed to go to the bathroom or anything like that, so we're going to be starting pretty soon, I imagine. It's going to be a 6-6 Vlandia versus Sturgia. Vlandia definitely has the better cavalry. Sturgian cavalry very weak with that shorter spear. It's pleasant. I mean, they can always go Contos, but that's usually not considered the meta perk to bring. Very rarely. I don't think I've seen it at all in this tournament so far. Now that I think about it, I'm wondering if it has happened at all. Probably not. I mean, it definitely invites skirmishers. If you go Contos, if somebody goes, you know, crossbow or archer or skirmisher, it really shuts you down when you have no shield. So currently they're still fighting in the warm-up, possibly somebody needed the time. Now it looks like Karmazi is their other cat player. It's funny how both of the Taw4 cat players are fighting with a pretty significant ping disadvantage. You know, usually anything above, like, well above 70 to 80 is pretty bad, and 121 and 160 I would basically consider borderline awful. It's not unplayable, obviously, because they're doing pretty well, but it's not beneficial by any means. So let's see how they do here. It's going to be the last set. VK4 on Vlandia, Taw4 on Sturgia. I'm curious to see if Taw4, more than likely they still go 4-2 because they have these two European cavalry players. I don't know if they're you know, Karmazi, I don't know if he's European, but he's certainly overseas to have a ping that bad. And as expected, they went 4-2 again. VK4 goes 5-1 again, only going BattleDroid on cavalry. Now, do they send somebody in Sturgia to fight BattleDroid right away? I just noticed that they don't have their other no, both cav are capping on A for Sturgia. Fights looking to begin pretty much right off the bat. Vlandia pushing into Sturgia. Let's see how this fight's going. I think right now, slightly... Oh, that's pretty big. Karmazi gets killed by BattleDroid. It's going to really hurt Taw4 in this fight. And then Dhmi misses a couple stabs. Dhmi gets a kill in. Trizoid gets a kill, it looks like, maybe. I think this definitely is overall in favor of VK4 right now. Their first fight in Vlandia. Second life cab comes back in. It's gonna... It's actually the first life cab that takes out BattleDroid. And it does appear that VK4 is trying to bring back some loot to their spawn, possibly. They do have one peasant spade. If he gets hit here, it's huge. He was super lucky to not get hit there. There's no awareness. You really need to be using tilde key. There's no reason not to be using your tilde key there. Really, I would say no excuse. But, you guys, you got to rebind your view character key to something that you're going to actually use. Tilde's kind of far out of the way, inconvenient to use. Rebind it to a mouse button or something and actually use it when you're walking down a long corridor. There's nobody in front of you. There's nothing to block in front of you. Why are you not looking behind yourself with your tilde key? So VK4 brings some weapons and shields back to their spawn for use, because they're going to need that when they die here on their, you know, Trizoid, whatever, Zrolock. They're going to be resetting on their first lives here, hopefully doing a lot of damage on the Sturgia and Peasant lives and Clan Warriors, and if they do, they'll have a really good chance, a good shot of winning the round overall. Looks like Sturgia / Taw4 has not taken a ton of hits. Maybe 2 guys have taken damage so far. That dismounted cavalry really discouraged BattleDroid from going in the fight. Could have been nice to have him, you know, get a pick on someone, but I agree that it was not worthwhile. It wasn't worth his time or risk. Now, this cavalry goes into reset. Doesn't look like he did any damage. I think Vlandia wants to push in as fast as possible before their cav has a chance to come back in, but it's such a small map that doesn't really matter. BattleDroid really hurt there. Didn't see that cav coming in. Cav's definitely going to be focusing him. I would not be surprised by that. BattleDroid gets a huge kill on Karmazi, and another kill right off the bat. I think BattleDroid is carrying this fight for VK4. Wow. Well, I guess BattleDroid and the VK4 infantry have just shut down Dhmi. Now this time, unlike the first round, Karmazi goes in to do something different. He goes to backcap the C. BattleDroid goes back to contest it. Stay off my lawn, he's probably thinking, but he'll be a little bit late to the fight if they push right away. He does not want to get 2v1 there on the flag, so I guess Sturgia is going to use their cav advantage to... I don't know if I would not have pushed here. He did not deserve to escape that without any damage. Somebody should have been behind the pillar and hit him for a ton of damage. Sturgia is not paying attention. Taw4 not paying attention there. Actually, there's a huge hit from CommanderAnder on BattleDroid, but he's still up. I think that was on BattleDroid. I don't know if it was, but he went down pretty fast there. I assume he was already hurt once. I think I'm having a momentary moment of dementia. I'm not really sure if I was correctly remembering that BattleDroid pushed the bridge into the infantry, but that was what was surprising me. I think Sturgia is overall winning this fight. We're going to knock out this one guy because they're actually using their axes instead of using spear. Yeah. Kind of what I said. Is this guy trickling? I think Blackbeard is trickling on his second life in the fight. Kind of risky. Bring root to spawn? Or no, he's getting a spear. Okay. I was going to say it didn't make sense to me to bring any sort of weapons into spawn normally. So, Poopsnicker still on his first life. So is CommanderAnder. Looks like we're gonna go ahead and reset here. Now, that's going to prevent Poopsnicker from having any help to help him do damage on his first life. He still gets in a really good kick there. So somebody took a nasty hit. Not sure who that was. It looks like it was... Keep moving, I can't even get that focus on him. It was PhoenixDawn, very solid player who... he hasn't scored that well this set, but I think overall, great player. And it's gonna be a bit hurt coming into this last fight, but overall, no huge difference in favor to either side right now. Vlandia is up on infantry, VK4 is, so we'll have to see some picks by Taw4, Sturgia, and Cav, the two EU players. They're going to have to kill somebody to offset their numbers disadvantage on infantry. And one gets dismounted. I don't think we've seen Sturgia and Cav do much in this fight yet. I mean, they've been trying their best, but yeah, with VK4 having the inf advantage this whole time, and Cav just not doing enough to offset that, looks like it may lose another round here. If you're relying on your Cav advantage, and Cav, you know, has the worst class, and they're not performing, and Dhmi obviously got that kill, so well done to him. Let's see. I think Dhmi probably not going to win this one. Very serious comment asking about duels from me. I mean, if they gave him duels, it wouldn't matter. He's got 160 ping. It wouldn't matter if he's... He really could be one of the better players ever, and it wouldn't be enough with that ping difference if he's on infantry. Wow, nice bump stab. Oh my god. Well, this is dragging on for too long. Let's see. This is probably going to be another win, so it's an 8-6 in favor of VK4. You know, technically, because nobody had their dead even 6-6 coming in, you know, Taw4 could still win 3 rounds in a row, and if they do, they'll win the match overall. But VK4 just needs to win one more round. Even if Taw4 wins the next 2 rounds in a row, VK4 needs to just win one of the next 3 rounds, and they win the match overall. That being said, my own match is starting in about 3 minutes. So I'll stick around here, I guess, for the next 1 or 2 minutes, but I pretty much have to leave. So I will have to be leaving for my own match starting momentarily. C Division, this is a D Division match. My C Division match will be starting just minutes after this one. It's even over, actually, before it's even over. Alright guys, I will stay just long enough to see how this first fight goes. I'm curious to see if Vlandia really takes the first win here, more than likely to win the match overall. I'm just curious to see if we can see that in the next 2 minutes. Okay, well, looks like Taw4 is going to stay in the fight. All that VK4 needs to do to win this match is win 1 round of the next up to 3 that could happen. If they win this round, the whole fight is over. This is the second half of the second map. They came in even at a 6-6 score. It's currently at an 8-6 in VK4's favor. So, looks like they are not heavily advantaged for this round, but I think more than likely they win the match overall. I will not be able to stream long enough to see what happens here because I have got my own match. I can't miss it. So